Most cat owners think affection is the whole job. Food, warmth, regular vet visits, and whatever's left is just personality. But there are 14 specific things your cat actively needs from you that have nothing to do with any of that. One of them may explain why your cat's kidneys are quietly failing years ahead of schedule. Another reveals what's actually happening every time your cat turns and walks away, the moment you reach for him. 14, your cat blinks slowly at you. Most people miss it. In feline social vocabulary, a slow, deliberate blink is the highest signal of peace an animal can offer to a being it reads as dangerous. Your cat is telling you they have chosen not to treat you as a threat. The correct response is to blink back. Slowly. Hold eye contact. Let your eyelids descend with purpose and wait. Their posture softens. The tension leaves their shoulders. They may blink again or simply hold the gaze, which is its own form of acceptance. Most owners respond by reaching out to touch them, which breaks the signal entirely. The signal requires only your eyes. Give them that, and they give you something most people never receive, an unforced moment of mutual recognition. 13. Eye contact is a weapon in feline biology. Predators lock onto prey with an unbroken stare, and your cat's nervous system reads your prolonged gaze through exactly that filter, regardless of your intentions. This is not shyness. It is not a personality flaw. It is a sensory alarm responding to body language that registers as threat. The fix is counterintuitive. Look away first, soften your gaze. Let your glance drift slightly to the side. You communicate that you are not evaluating them as a target. Cats reliably move toward people who ignore them at a party because those people are the only ones not staring. Once they understand your eyes are safe, they approach. They sit closer. They stop leaving the room when you enter. 12. Physical contact has to be their idea. This is the rule your cat has been trying to enforce since the first time they scratched you, and you didn't understand why. Forcing affection, picking them up mid-motion, holding them against a chest they didn't choose, petting past the point where their tail started flicking, feels from inside their nervous system, indistinguishable from being pinned. The solution is restraint. Keep sessions short. End them before they signal discomfort. Let them jump into your lap and leave on their own terms. What you lose in quantity, you gain in quality. The cat who chooses you freely, every time with no coercion, is a different relationship entirely from the one you had to manage. One is trust, the other only looks like it. 11. Cats don't meow at other cats. Adult felines reserve vocalization almost entirely for interaction with humans. This is documented and consistent across domestic populations. What evolved as functional hunting communication became, over thousands of years of cohabitation, something closer to a shared language directed specifically at you. When your cat talks, they are attempting contact with the one species they developed this capability for. Responding, not with commands, just with attention and a voice, validates the attempt and keeps the channel open. Cats that are regularly spoken to become more social. Not because they understand the words, but because they understand the pattern. I vocalize, something responds. The silence of being ignored is not neutral. It closes a door they open, and they open it less often each time it goes unanswered. 10. Cats live vertically. Now, the floor is a compromise. A flat surface where nothing interesting originates and where anything that wanted to could approach without warning. In the wild, height is where survival decisions are made. Who to watch, when to leave, and where to go. Removing vertical space doesn't make a cat forget that they need it. It makes them restless and increasingly sedentary because nothing in the apartment rewards effort. A single tall cat tree near a window changes the behavioral profile of most cats within days. Add wall shelves leading higher, and the effect compounds. The cat who seemed to sleep all day was sleeping because sleeping was the only option the space offered. Give them somewhere to go, and they go there. 9. The belly display is one of the most routinely misread signals in domestic cat ownership. When your cat rolls onto their back and exposes the underside, they are not requesting a belly rub. They are communicating depth of trust that in this moment, in this space, They feel safe enough to show their most anatomically vulnerable region. Touching it destroys the message. Nerve density in the cat's abdomen is unusually high, and defensive reflexes fire before conscious thought can intervene. They grab, they bite. Then the owner concludes the cat is unpredictable. The cat is entirely predictable. You simply responded to the wrong signal. The correct response is to see it, acknowledge it without touching it, and let it be what it was, a compliment. 8. The hunting sequence is not a metaphor. Stalk, rush, catch, kill, eat, groom, sleep. This is the complete biological loop a cat's nervous system is built to run. In an indoor environment with no prey, the loop has nowhere to complete. The energy accumulates. What you interpret as erratic or destructive behavior is often an incomplete hunting cycle pressing for release. Play is the mechanism that closes it. Not passive play where a toy sits on the floor, active play where something moves unpredictably and allows the killing bite at the end. 10 to 15 minutes twice a day is enough. Offer food immediately after. The cat pacing the walls an hour ago eats calmly and goes to sleep. The biology is exactly that simple. 7. Reacting to scratching with anger teaches exactly one thing, that anger shows up unpredictably in this environment. The cat cannot map your outburst onto the scratching behavior. Cats don't process consequence chains across more than a few seconds. They understand that something startled and threatened them, not why. The scratching continues, relocated to wherever you're least likely to see it. The behavior persists because it is not optional. Scratching removes dead claw material, stretches the musculature from paw to shoulder, and deposits territorial markers from glands in the paw pads. The cat cannot choose not to need this. The solution is placement. Put a tall, stable scratching surface where they already scratch. Add a second one near their sleeping spot. Switch is often complete within a week with no conflict required. 6. The tail and rear legs are part of the spinal column. The nerve pathways running through the tail transmit sensory data continuously, and grabbing it creates a pain-adjacent signal the body interprets as structural threat. The response is reflexive. The cat turns and bites. Owners describe this as aggression. It is not. It is a nervous system responding to what it registers as a direct attack on core hardware. The same applies to grabbing the rear legs, which eliminates the cat's ability to push free and triggers the identical defensive cascade. Read the body before reaching. A tail held low or wrapped tight signals a closed state. A relaxed, upright tail carried freely signals permission to approach. The difference is readable with 30 seconds of observation. Start reading it before you reach. 5. Cats in REM sleep twitch at the paws and whiskers. A domestic cat requires 16 to 20 hours of rest per day, not because they are lazy, but because they are sprint predators. Short explosive bursts, followed by extended recovery that most owners severely underestimate. Interrupting REM sleep repeatedly degrades immune function, elevates cortisol, and produces the behavioral profile most owners attribute to personality: skittishness, low tolerance, unpredictability. You can tell whether a cat is in deep or light sleep by watching for paw and whisker movement. Light nap, touch may be tolerated. Active REM, twitching visibly. Leave the room. The dream they are running has physiological work inside it that no amount of observation from the doorway can substitute for. Your curiosity about what they dream costs more than it appears to. 4. In the wild, water near a kill is suspect. Decomposing prey contaminates standing water, and the feline olfactory system is precise enough to detect chemical signals at concentrations humans cannot register. When the water bowl sits next to the food dish, the combination of smells triggers the same ancient alarm that kept their ancestors alive. The protocol reads danger and suppresses thirst regardless of actual need. Placing water in a separate room bypasses that reflex entirely. Adding a fountain increases intake further. Running water carries a freshness signal that standing water does not. Chronic dehydration is the leading driver of kidney disease in domestic cats, and most of it is preventable by this one adjustment. It takes 30 seconds to change. It takes years to regret not changing it. 3, your cat doesn't have a concept of guests with good intentions. They read an unfamiliar body, an unfamiliar scent, and run a threat assessment at full speed. Your job in that moment is not to smooth the social dynamic for your visitor. It is to stand between your cat and whoever is approaching before they have consented to it. If they leave the room, they have given their answer. Accept it without calling them back or offering commentary on their personality. A cat allowed to manage their own social exposure at their own pace becomes, over time, genuinely more willing to engage. The ones repeatedly cornered and held for introductions become less willing with each experience. The direction doesn't reverse on its own, and there is no trick that resets it. 2, when you come home from being around another animal, your clothes carry chemical information your cat reads immediately and thoroughly. The olfactory map they maintain of their territory is precise, and a new scent profile on the person they most associate with safety is a direct disruption. The resulting stress is real: territorial marking, avoidance, defensive behavior with no apparent cause. Wash your hands before entering. Change your outer layer if the contact was prolonged. Their world is primarily chemical. You move through it constantly, carrying the outside in with you every time. The care it takes to enter carefully is smaller than you think. The cost of not doing so accumulates quietly, surfacing eventually as a behavior problem with no origin you can identify. The final veterinary visit is the one most owners are least prepared for, and the only one where your emotional state has a direct biological effect on your cat. They read cortisol. They read heart rate. They read the quality of the hands holding them and the steadiness of the voice in the room. What they need there is the same thing they have always needed from you: presence that feels safe. Slow your breathing, keep your voice low and even, keep your hands still and warm. You were with them through every version of their life, through the kitten chaos and the long, quiet afternoons, and every night they chose to sleep near you. This is the last version. Be there for it.